Welcome into the Triple Option presents the Offseason. We're going to go through every team we possibly can that we'll have time to get to in the offseason, starting with the power conferences and starting in the Big 12 and tell you what went wrong or what went right, how to fix it, or how to make it even better. We're going to start in the Big 12 with the Cincinnati Bearcats. What went right for the Bearcats? Not much. What went wrong? Pretty much everything, as they finished at the bottom of the Big 12. What was the first thing that went wrong? Bad QB play from Emory Jones. He's been at three spots. He was at Florida, he was at Arizona State, and he was at Cincinnati, and it got progressively worse as he went along. While Emory Jones is athletic and can provide a little bit of a spark, he was an adventure and not a good one. He's kind of the adventure that you hear Motley Crue talk about in Behind the Music when they wake up the next morning regretting everything that they've ever done in their life, and now they have syphilis. You can't win with Emory Jones at quarterback. The good news is he's gone and they can move on from that, but more on that later. What else went wrong? A completely depleted roster. Look, Luke Fickell went off to Wisconsin. He took some of the players with him. Some players left. Yes, they were active in the transfer portal and added people, but Scott Satterfield adding guys in the transfer portal for the first year in the Big 12 was never really going to be the long-term winning strategy. So they didn't have a Power 5 ready roster, and that certainly hurt them, and you saw that as it moved down the line. They fooled a few people when they won against Pittsburgh early in the year, but ultimately was not enough and continued to get worse as the year went on. Finally, Scott Satterfield's a first-year coach. This is kind of what happens when you get a first-year coach. He was not a popular hire in Cincinnati. He wasn't necessarily a negative hire, but they lost one of the best coaches in their history in Luke Fickell to Wisconsin. He was wildly popular. He got them to the college football playoff. He did things that Cincinnati never thought possible. Now he's off to the Big Ten, and they hired a guy who was pretty much known in Louisville as not Jeff Brom. When Louisville hired him, the fans were upset that they didn't hire Jeff Brom. They've hired Jeff Brom and fired Scott Satterfield left, and they were able to hire Jeff Brom. So everything's right in the world in Louisville, and Scott Satterfield can be in Cincinnati in a place that he was wanted. He's had success at other places, especially App State, where he won a lot. So there's potential there for Scott Satterfield to grow, but it looked very much like a first-year coaching staff. Okay, how do you fix it if you're Cincinnati? Stability at quarterback. That means more than likely the transfer portal, because if the quarterback was on the roster, probably would have played over Emory Jones last year. Who can you get? Well, look, this is not maybe a Cam Ward, Kyle McCord type move that they can make. Not saying that everybody's off the table, but you're probably looking at a guy like Braden Shager from Hawaii who's in the transfer portal. A lot of success for the Warriors over his career, is a veteran, has thrown the ball. Actually, a lot better numbers than Emory Jones in the three places he was. This is a guy who can help you. Cam Fancher out of Marshall, another guy that Cincinnati may want to take a look at. He's somebody who did well at Marshall, was a little bit up and down, but mutual parting of the ways there with the Thundering Herd seems to be best for everybody. Could work out well in Cincinnati, had some big wins. Number two, a power conference ready roster. This guy, Dante Corleone, he's a Power 5 player. They don't have a whole lot of this guy right now. So portal, find those P5 guys and build up your roster. You've got more teams coming in next year. The schedule's going to get tougher for Cincinnati, so you can't wait too long to build up that roster and say, how are we going to make it in the Big 12? You have to do it right now and get in the portal. It's not about winning the Big 12 next year, Cincinnati. They shouldn't even really, as fans, think about that. The coaching staff and the players can worry about that as they get ready for the season. But right now, the coaching staff has to get in the portal, do well in high school recruiting, get players who are Power 5 players, who are Big 12 players and not AAC players. There is a difference. That means that I get it bigger, stronger, and faster. And the quickest way to do that is in the portal. And Scott Satterfield's going to have to do that effectively. Third, consistency in the coaching staff. Like I said before, look, it's too early to throw the baby out with the bathwater on Scott Satterfield. He's a guy who has, again, had success. I will give him a pass on Louisville, as I think everybody should, because sometimes We've all done it. We've walked into a job. It's just not a good match. It was not a great match in Louisville. And he managed to get them to a winning record on the way out the door before he went to Cincinnati. So he's got some juice left in his coaching bottle. I think if they stay consistent, let Scotterfield find his feet in Cincinnati, they'll be fine. Look, this year was a whole new Big 12. Next year, again, a whole new Big 12. So changing horses midstream, probably not the best idea for the Bearcats, especially if they like what they do in recruiting and the transfer portal. So that is your wrap up on 2023 Cincinnati and how they get better in 2024. This is 365 Sports. Tune into my show, The Triple Option, Monday through Thursday, 1 to 2 p.m. Central, every single day, and of course right here on 365 Sports YouTube channel.